Hello, Chattanooga. Can you hear me? Okay, so tell your story. I believe that storytelling is extremely powerful. I also believe that if you have a story inside that you haven't told, like one that you keep really close to you, it can like eat you alive inside until you tell it. So this is me telling my story for the first time ever in public. And are there kids still here? I hope not. You're going to hear some F-bombs, and I'm sorry about that. Okay. So I was born in Cleveland, Texas, to a single mom. A year and a half later, I had a little sister. Our biological father's name was Guy. He was married and had 2 other kids already. Now, I feel like Guy should have been a red flag to my mom. Like, that's a super warning. You should stay the hell away from a guy named Guy. And then, sure as hell, don't have illegitimate kids with him, right? He was douchebag number 1. Then I was 4. My mother met my stepfather. He was 20 years older than her, illiterate, unemployed, claimed his past careers included inventing CPR, no shit, and being a bodyguard for Elvis. What the fuck? Douchebag number 2. So my mother married douchebag number 2, moved my sister and I to Chattanooga with his 2 teenage sons, and we moved into an old funeral home. No kidding. So this might explain my current love for horror films, but it was pretty damn weird at the time, and I think it was pretty certain that the universe was telling me stuff was about to get worse. So my circumstances to this point had colored my life just enough to provide the material for a decent stand-up career. Okay? I mean, I was literally a redheaded stepchild, living dirt poor in the South, in an old funeral home with a stepfather who thought we had ghosts. But it did get worse. My sister and I were raped by our high school-age stepbrother. This is where you really laugh, right? So he was douchebag number 3. I was about 7, she was 5, and honestly, it happened so many times, I'm not really sure if that's when it started. Our bedroom was immediately next to my mother and stepfather's, but no one ever came to investigate these sounds in the middle of the night. And my mother didn't even question us or take us to the doctor when we came to her in pain once, trying to tell her something was wrong without actually speaking the words. Then one day, puppets saved my life. Who gets to say that? You guys know those kids on the block puppets that come and talk to you about bullying and divorce, right? Well, they came to the 1st grade in my school once, and they talked about abuse. And afterwards, they passed around a survey and said, check this box if you've been abused. Well, my sister thought puppets could save us, so she checked the box. And what followed was surreal. There was a session in the principal's office with a game of, where on the puppet did he touch you? A rape exam, questions from police investigators. I thought for sure douchebag number 3 was going to be arrested and locked away, but he wasn't. It was swept under the carpet. He was never arrested. He never went to jail. My mother and stepfather never even asked us if it was true. And to everyone except my sister and I, it was like it never even happened. Everything was fine, except that it wasn't. So lucky for me, the sexual assault was replaced by physical and mental abuse, at least until the day that he moved out. But by then, my stepfather had assumed the role of resident asshole by playing peeping Tom and tyrant with my family. But after a childhood like mine, it almost seemed a little bit more tolerable. That's until one day my stepbrother moved back home, and one night I awoke to him standing in my bedroom, and I knew that I couldn't stay. Something was going to happen. It was just after high school graduation, so I was of legal age, and I told my mom, I'm taking my sister, and you can come with me, or you can stay. So over the course of a week, we snuck our things into my car. One day, she said we were going shopping, and we just never came home. So for the next 15 years, I did everything possible to build a normal life. I went to college, first in my family. I graduated. I started a nonprofit career helping others. I got married. I had a baby. I worked really, really hard. I bought a house, got a dog, worked really hard some more, but something still lingered. Guess what? I was diagnosed with severe depression and anxiety. Suicide was on my mind all the time. It turned out that no matter how normal of a life I'd built, I needed to deal with the years of abuse that were still threatening me. But the last thing I wanted to do was relinquish any more power than I already had, but I finally had to admit that I needed help. So I made some tough choices. I needed to fix myself, and I needed a soft place to land while I did it. So I withdrew from my career, which was extremely hard for me. I believe that if I'd worked hard enough for causes that fixed other people, I could fix myself, but it really doesn't work that way. So 2 years ago, I took on a job that was far less demanding and spent more time with family, especially my daughter. And if anyone fucks with her, they're gonna have to deal with me. And I can be pretty mean. I've taken on new interests and I've started trying to decide what my next steps will be. And sometimes I still struggle to stay positive. I mean, I'll always be an introvert with trust issues. You can ask my poor husband. And I don't know if I'll ever fully expel the self-doubt that plagues so many of us, but I sure as hell pay as little attention as possible to anyone who doubts me. I'm too old to make time for assholes, and I've honestly dealt with one too many douchebags in my life. So here I am now. I finally shared my story, exorcised the demons. I'm in the best place emotionally than I've ever been for the last several months. And over the last several months, I've been dialing up my propensity to kick ass, so I'm really excited about the future. I've lived through some tough shit. I pulled myself out of it with the help of some amazing people along the way. My husband, Shane, my daughter, Isabella, even though she doesn't know what's going on, my best friend, Kate, my mother-in-law, Kay, my old boss, Megan, and a great therapist named Catherine. Everyone should have a Catherine. So if you're lucky enough to be free in this world, then the only limitations you really have are the ones that you place on yourself. And frankly, I'm done with all the limitations. No one's ever gonna make me feel powerless again. I'm not waiting on permission. I'm not waiting on an invitation to get what I want. Now I say, fuck all that noise. Thank you.